This kid got a summer job at a water park. Most employees spent their breaks sitting in the shade or eating a pretzel with cheese. And milk! Well, he spent his breaks in the wave pool because every single day people would lose stuff in this wave pool. Sunglasses, necklaces, earrings, wedding rings. People would search for a few minutes and then they would always give up and they would leave. So every single break he would throw on his goggles and he would get into this wave pool. And it's not easy to search the bottom of the wave pool, but this kid was a very talented swimmer and he could hold his breath for an incredibly long time. So he would spend his entire 30-minute break looking around the bottom of this pool. First day he found a gold chain, then somebody's wedding ring, then somebody's waterproof wallet with $50 in it. Now he had a decision to make. Should he take this stuff to the pawn shop to see what he can get for this gold necklaces and wedding rings? But he decided to bring it to the lost and found instead. And more people than not came back looking for their stuff, and they were always shocked that it was there, and they all had to thank this kid. It paid off eventually though, because one lady who had lost her incredibly valuable wedding ring came, and when she saw it, she was so relieved. She gave this kid $600. He was so grateful. He became a legend. He kept doing this every single day. It got to the point where his bosses let him take longer than usual breaks because now he wasn't searching just the wave pool. He was in the lazy river, the deep end of the dive pool, everywhere. And everything he found, he brought back to the office. Hey, you gotta respect the hustle. And that's a respectful one. This kid started a newspaper at school, and it wasn't the school newspaper. Every Friday, he would show up with around 20 copies of this newspaper he would print at home. And here's the thing. Everything in this newspaper was 100% true. It was all just completely unnecessary. One headline said, Mr. Jenkins bought new shoes. All right. Another one was how the science teacher switched from black coffee to coffee with vanilla creamer. There was an entire article covering the fact that some kid's dad bought a brand new lawnmower, and one about another kid's grandpa who got a new hearing aid. Nobody needed to know any of this stuff, but people couldn't stop reading it. Hey, did you read Johnny's newspaper this week? Yeah, I read that Steven's cat no longer has fleas. The headlines were crazy. Stuff like, Mrs. Carter has worn the same watch every day for 8 years. Or, the principal parks in a different spot every time it rains. Or, every Wednesday the janitor whistles the same song. Teachers would buy and read these newspapers as well. Hey, how did you know I bought new shoes? The kid would be like, oh, I pay attention. Pretty soon everyone got paranoid because they're like, this kid knows everything. People started acting different because they didn't want to be a headline. But this kid didn't post rumors or gossip. It was just simple stuff. It was harmless. Nobody was getting roasted. It was just information. You know what? You gotta respect the hustle. Every football practice, the kids would come outside and they would all dump their backpack into one giant pile right next to the building. Well, by the time practice was over, everyone getting their backpack was a mess. I think mine's in the bottom. Some kids had the same exact backpack, so sometime they would take it home on accident. It'd be a huge mess. Well, that's when this one kid who wasn't even on the team got an idea. One day before practice, he showed up with this little table and a basket full of bottle caps. Each bottle cap had a number painted on it, and there was 2 of each number. Here was the thing. When you handed him your backpack, he would clip one bottle cap to the zipper and give you the other bottle cap with the same number on it. So just like checking a code at a restaurant. Hey, Billy, what's up? Here's my pack. Thank you, sir. All right, you are number 3. Here's your cap. Hey, thanks, man. Have a great bat. Have a great practice, Chief. Practice ends, the players run over, they form a line, and each person gets their backpack in an organized fashion. The coaches even started using this. It's actually quite brilliant when you think about it. And you see, he didn't charge a single penny for this service. But what he was offering was so valuable, a lot of people tipped him. So did the coaches. So he made some extra cash. Plus, he wasn't doing anything after school anyway. If they didn't tip him in cash, they would give him snacks or a Gatorade. They called him Backpack Guy. Gotta respect the hustle. There was a kid that carried a Polaroid camera every day at school. People just thought he liked taking pictures. He would stop, shoot a picture, and move on. He would stick the photo in his backpack. Nobody ever asked to see them because he never offered. Freshman year, he was taking pictures. Sophomore year, still taking pictures. Junior, senior year, taking pictures every day. But he always took pictures of very specific things, like somebody slipped and fell in the cafeteria, teachers mid-sneeze, mascot losing his head at a football game, Somebody just got dumped and is crying in the bathroom. Every embarrassing moment. Then graduation rolls around. Everybody's signing their yearbooks, getting emotional. High school graduation. That's when this kid shows up with a giant 3-ring binder, and he sets it down on the lunch table. Inside this binder are hundreds of Polaroid pictures. Every single embarrassing moment from freshman to senior year. Everyone wanted to look at it, but he said, nobody can look at it until this is auctioned off. And if nobody buys it, I'm burning it at the end of the year bonfire. And just like that, people were bidding. Half the graduation class was standing around him and this binder, and they were offering money. And it got pretty intense. The highest bidder gets the binder, and they can do whatever they want with these. It ends up selling for $300. Person that bought it just sat down, let everyone look over his shoulder while he flipped through it. And actually, those embarrassing moments made people very emotional. It was kinda wholesome, and that is weird but beautiful. This kid got half the school to pay for something that didn't exist. On Monday morning, he walked into school holding a clipboard. At the top of it, the clipboard said waiting list, and that's it. And then there were slots for names. Well, he starts talking about it and showing people, and they ask him, hey, waiting list for what? He says, I actually can't tell you, but it's awesome. You want on the list? Sure. It's just $2 to secure your spot. Okay, sure. Here, kid pays. Gets his name added to the list. And how it usually works is people start noticing, and that's exactly what they did. And then they were curious as well. Now, not everybody was dumb enough to sign up and pay for a waiting list spot for something that they had no idea about, but a lot of kids did. By the next day, word had spread a bunch, and more kids wanted on the waiting list. But that's when he upped his game. The waiting list is actually full, you guys, but we did add 10 more spots. It's just $5 this time to hold it. And everyone did. People signed up for this thing. Teachers start asking, and the parents started hearing about this. A teacher asked him, hey, so what exactly is the waiting list for? Don't worry about it. It's exclusive. After about 3 weeks of doing this and making a lot of money, somebody cornered him. It was the school janitor. Hey kid, what's going on here? I demand an answer onto what this is. He just smiles and says, there isn't one. This is a waiting list to nothing. Oh, I also spent all the money. So, what are you gonna do about it? The janitor gets the principal suspends him. But he never had to pay the money back, so I guess that's a win. But he is a scammer, so it's bad to scam people, right? This teacher was brutal for this. If you misbehaved in class, didn't do your homework, or just got in trouble, you had to erase the whiteboard with your clothes. One afternoon, she calls on this kid to answer a question, but he wasn't listening. Billy! Oh, I'm sorry. What was the question? Oh, you weren't paying attention. Come up here, actually. I need you to erase this part of the board with your sleeve. Can I please not? You see, this kid was wearing a brand new white hoodie that he had got for his birthday from his parents. It was expensive, but she did not care. Now! The kid hesitated for a second, but then he went up there with his sleeve and... the right sleeve of that hoodie was dirty, ruined, was no longer pristine. He goes home, and that afternoon when he walks through his front door, his parents are like, yo son, what happened to your sweatshirt? So he tells the whole story. His dad didn't even finish listening. He grabbed his keys immediately, got into his car, and headed straight to the school. He brings his son with him. The principal is still in the office. Hi, excuse me, my wife and I bought our son this brand new hoodie yesterday for his birthday. Look at his sleeve. The teacher made him do that. Apparently, the principal couldn't believe it. That's kind of sinister. So he said, don't worry, I'll handle this. As him and his dad were walking out of the office, he heard the principal, Mrs. Johnson, please head to my office. And by the next morning, they noticed something. That teacher was on her best behavior, and she never made anybody erase the whiteboard with their clothes ever again. This kid's dad owned a self-storage facility. Those places that have tons of those storage units that look like garages. Well, one summer, this kid asks his dad, Dad, can I please use one of the storage units as a hangout place for my friends? His dad said, okay, son, you can use one unit. So every Saturday, this kid would go, unlock the unit, and he would bring a bunch of stuff there. Him and his friends dragged in an old couch, a TV, a mini fridge, a folding table, a carpet. They had an extension cord. They were playing Xbox. At first, it was just 4 of them. them. This is awesome, right, guys? Then somebody else. Pretty soon, every afternoon, there was like 20 middle schoolers hanging out at this storage unit. It was like the world's smallest clubhouse, but it was awesome. There were rules. There was snacks and drinks in the fridge, their very own secret headquarters. The funniest part, all these kids' parents thought they were just hanging out at somebody's house. This went on for the entire summer. Then one afternoon, one of these kids' moms has her pick him up at this place. She gets there and she's like, this isn't somebody's house. But then she sees a bunch of bikes out front, so she goes inside. She looks around. She starts hearing a noise. What is this? She knocks on the unit door where the noise is coming from. They open it, and she sees like 15 guys playing Xbox inside. What's going on here? Oh no! And instead of being a cool mom, she was super mad. Threatened to call the police. Threatened to expose this kid's dad. And after that, it was shut down. And all I know is, that mom sucks. This kid noticed something about the Gatorade machine at his school. Only 2 flavors, yellow and blue. Now, nobody touched the yellow ones because the yellow Gatorades suck. So whenever they went there, they were getting the blue ones. Well, one morning before first period, he walks to the Gatorade machine and he notices that there's only 8 blue Gatorades left, but there's a ton of yellow ones. Well, he took a risk and he decided to buy every single blue Gatorade left, all 8. He carries them to his locker and he puts them in this little cooler he would bring to school every day that held his lunch. It kept the Gatorades cold. Well, at lunch, everybody went to the vending machine. They were ticked off. Wait, only yellow left? That sucks! Kids are standing there like, yo, what happened? That's when this kid came out of nowhere. Yeah, sorry guys, there was only 8 blue Gatorades left this morning, so I got them all. Yo, can I buy one from you? How much you gonna give me? $1.50 like the vending machine takes? No, you see, because now there's supply and demand. I gotta charge you more than the vending machine. Fine, I'll give you $3. Yeah, dude, I'm so thirsty. 4? Deal. He sold all of those Gatorades for an upcharge, and he made pure profit that day. It wasn't crazy money. The next day, he tried to do it again, but at that point, the school had restocked all the blue Gatorades, so it would have been insane to buy 30 of them. But hey, that's the mindset you need, my friends, and you gotta respect the frickin' hustle, baby.